In this tutorial, we're going to look at the RhinoPython interface that's in Rhino 5. In Rhino, go to Tools, Python Script, Edit, and it'll bring up the RhinoPython editor. In here you can see a region where you can place a new script, a part down at the bottom that shows output, your variables, and call stack, a button that you can use to create a new script, so you can have an empty script, for example, and some help that's on the left side with some of the libraries and commands that you can use. One of the main ones that we will be using at the beginning will be the RhinoScript syntax. You can open this up and see a lot of the different functions that we can use, such as add box or add line or even add point. You can also see a help section for just Python in general, which has some of the other elements that you need for Python, and there's also Rhino.net, which allows us to get at a lower level into the objects. In order to use the RhinoScript syntax, you basically say import RhinoScript syntax, and you can see there's some IntelliSense help here. And we can just use that RhinoScript syntax and press a dot, and then we'll see all of the functions that we saw in the help. Typically, a shortcut to this, instead of saying RhinoScript syntax, is to save as rs. And in this case, we can press rs dot, and it will come up with all of these. It's just a short form for RhinoScript syntax. You can use anything you want. So here we can use a different setting, RTS, whatever you want. It's just a short way of getting to those functions. Some of the other things that are in here are the run, or the start debugging. There's some debugging functions here for toggling break that we'll get to later. There's a find to search things. There's save as. So when you save, you're going to save as a Python file, py. You can open, and you can create a new script. Also, these same functions happen up here in the menu, File, New, Open, Recent Scripts, for example. Edit has some of the same functions here, mostly for searching out different parts of your code. Debug, Tools. There's some other tools here for changing the style and the font, and which locations it looks for some of the modules. So you can actually add more functions that you can find later and add them in or create your own. And then in the help, there's some really good place. Python help will go to the main python.org website here, python.org. It'll go to the documentation. There's also a useful links page, RhinoPython cookbook, and the RhinoPython community, as well as some examples that you can try out. And that's basically all you need to know for the Rhino editor. You write your script, you press play to debug it, and we'll get going from there.